Once upon a time, there lived a video game reviewer in the magical land of North Dakota.
Well, North Dakota really isn't magical, except for when it snows. But I don't have a bow and arrow, I don't have a sword and shield, I don't have a mage hat. If any of you have that, feel free to send it to me. Be sure to mail it via mailer pigeon. I digress. Today we're reviewing the game... What was that about? Dang you low-flying birds! Today we're reviewing Trine. Ha!
Trine is a fantasy, side-scrolling puzzle game developed by Frozenbyte and released in 2009. The Enchanted Edition update was released in 2015. Let's just clear this up really quick. I will actually be covering both versions of Trine in this review. Generally, people will prefer to play the Enchanted Edition because of the updates that were implemented. If you're curious about the original, we'll cover that as well. There are some differences, but if you're judging the games based on their core gameplay, they're still very similar, and the differences really just come down to graphics and a small couple differences between the two.
The story is told as if it's being read from a storybook, and narrated in such a way that it makes me
Feel like I'm laying in my bed listening to a story being read to me. Only I'm playing a video game while I listen.
The Astral Academy, left to rot in the face of the terrible enemy, had no one to keep the treasure safe.
The basic story is that a thief named Zoya, a knight named Pontius, and a mage named Amadeus are all joined together by an artifact known as the Trine. They must work together to save the kingdom. How do they work together and save the kingdom, you might ask? By switching who's who. It's a little complicated, but basically the Trine has joined these three heroes together, and they can switch at will. You can use Amadeus' magic briefly, then switch to Zoya and fire a few shots out of her bow and arrow, then switch to Pontius and flail around with his sword at some skeletons, all within seconds of each action. Just bam, bam, bam. Let's discuss each character in more detail. Firstly, Zoya. She fires arrows and has a grappling hook. Next, Pontius, who has a sword which he can swing to and fro, as well as a shield which can block attacks and projectiles. I also noticed that Pontius' voice sounds very similar to Cormac's from Diablo 3. They aren't the same voice actors, but every time he spoke, I always yelled out, "Glorious!"
Glorious!
Lastly, my boy Amadeus. Can you tell I play favorites when it comes to playable video game characters? While many people seem to belittle this poor cowardly mage, I find him quite fun to play as. I love running around and dropping boxes on people. He's extremely useful for platforming, since these boxes can be used to reach hard-to-get places.
He had been studying the stars and trying hard to learn the elusive fireball spell that all wizards ought to know.
Amadeus is still trying to learn that fireball spell? I've already mastered that one.
Incendio! Incendio!
I can't really get more specific with the characters until the differences are identified between the original and enhanced versions of Trine. The key differences between Trine and Trine the Enhanced Edition is updated graphics, the addition of multiplayer, and a few weird quirks that are fixed with Amadeus. Well, physics-wise within the game. I won't spoil it, but I kind of figured out a trick with Amadeus that doesn't work the same way in Trine the Enhanced Edition and Trine 2. But I figured out a workaround. If you're curious about that, maybe I'll put an explanation in the description for those of you who pay attention to my reviews. So, to break it down, Trine the Enhanced Edition has updated graphics. The jury is still out on who prefers whichever look. I personally enjoy both, but the enhanced version has more special effect graphics. but the original has a far more clean look, so you can kind of weigh that for yourself. Part of me feels like J.J. Abrams got a hold of the Enhanced Edition and said, "Let's add lens flares!" And everyone was like, "What? No! Everyone knows you like those!" So they met in the middle ground and made everything very light and shiny and sparkly surfaced. Regarding the change to the Trine engine, the game controls slightly differently. In general, I prefer the enhanced version because in the original game, creating and moving Amadeus' boxes took forever. But that's really the only difference I noticed. The enhanced version just feels smoother, again, more clean, stuff like that. An additional mechanical thing that I noticed is that Zoya can shoot in the air while in the Enchanted Edition, while in the original game, Zoya cannot shoot in the air. Lastly, multiplayer.
What do you care about multiplayer, Atratzu? We've read your profiles like good stalker friends. We know you normally play video games by yourself because you're a social recluse.
I'm sure you were thinking that. Anyway, while you would be mostly correct, I do enjoy playing games with friends. In Trine, however, I have dibs on one character, Amadeus.
You cannot have the wizard. You must dodge my boxes and deal with my wicked sweet dance moves.
Of course my voice would be gone on the weekend that I'm recording this. This is one of my favorite pastimes to do in Trine 1. I love dancing on the tops of skeletons. Kinda adds new meaning to the phrase, dancing on your tombstone. Diversions and awesome sideshows aside, let's talk about the general gameplay for Trine. As I've already said, you have 3 characters. You also have a leveling system of sorts. You collect these green pot things, which would be smashed in any other game, and kill skeletons to get experience. After you've earned enough experience, you can choose which character to upgrade or level up. Part of the game is locating all these experience orbs, be it from hidden away secret spots,
Smashing all the things.
or just missing that one hidden bugger that you'd never think to look for. I hate those stragglers. Fortunately, it's not required to beat the game, but if you're OCD like me and must complete all the things, you'll need to find time to do it. In addition to leveling up characters to make them stronger, you will also find chests which contain items that will be equipped by whichever hero is active at the time. But don't worry, you can sort your inventory later and give it to whichever hero you want. For example, you may want to give the magical ring of magicness to Amadeus rather than Zoya, or maybe you want Zoya to fire another shot, or maybe Pontius to be more of a meat shield by giving him damage reduction items. Really, it's up to you on however you want to gear up your characters and set them up for whatever. It's pretty intuitive, so you can probably figure it out on your own. And that's about it. There's really not much else to say about Trine. Trine was the kind of game I didn't realize I needed until I first played it. It will appeal to anyone whom likes the fantasy genre, but moreover, keep in mind that this is a platformer and it has puzzles in it. If anything you've seen in this review even remotely interests you, chances are you'll like this game.
But before you go,
Care to read me one more story about dragons, rogues, wizards, and knights? Please?
I mean, I'm kinda sick right now, so yeah. Good timing on that, I guess.
Read me a story. Hey, thank you for watching my review for Trine. If you liked it, be sure to check out my past review, which was for Don't Starve. That annotation will be over here. I'm gonna point this way. Well, again, thank you for everyone who's been supporting these reviews so far. They've been very difficult to make for the most part, but very worthwhile, and the support that I'm getting from people is fantastic. It's just person after person that I speak to. All of you are making me all the more motivated to just keep trying my best in every single review that I do. Hopefully this time Adobe Premiere doesn't have a little tantrum and refuse to export stuff. That currently is probably the hardest part now, so yeah, there's that. Thanks for watching the review. Be sure to check out any other reviews that you haven't seen if you liked it. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks, see you next time. I sleep with my eyes open. Don't judge me. I also sleep with the lights on. That's not true at all.